And now that Tehran sent a message back, they're screaming for help like a child who lit the fire and got burned by the flame. Oh, now it's a tragedy. Now you remember what a hospital is. You bombed over 200 hospitals in Gaza. You hit a children's hospital in Iran. You blew up ambulances, dialysis centers, maternity wards. And now you want sympathy? Let me say this loud so the world hears. You didn't just bomb buildings. You didn't just kill civilians. You targeted the ones who were trying to save them. You murdered medics, unarmed, brave, rushing to save a life. And you killed them in cold blood. Then you buried them in their vehicles, like criminals hiding a murder weapon. You didn't just kill people, you erased the proof. You buried mercy under the rubble, and now you ask for compassion. Here's the part that burns deeper. The world has been watching a live stream genocide for 2 years, on every screen, in every language, from every angle. And now, after 2 years of watching you bomb children with American missiles, you expect the people to feel something for you. You got some nerve. You want tears. Tell that to the mothers digging their babies out with bare hands. Tell that to cancer patients gasping for oxygen as the hospital walls collapsed around them. You want sympathy. You had 2 years of global silence, and that still wasn't enough for your bloodlust. You've been had. You've been took. You've been hoodwinked. The world was hoodwinked into believing you were victims while you turned cities into cemeteries. You don't get to cry now. Not after you made mourning a crime in Gaza. You don't get to scream now. Not after you silenced every voice that dared to say enough. You bombed hope. You buried mercy. You murdered truth. And now you want the people's pity. We don't mourn for war criminals. We don't cry for colonizers. We cry for the silence, for the crushed, for the medics you left in the dirt. But something's changed. The world sees you now. The veil is off. The lie is dead.
They know Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. That's the only reason they're comfortable attacking them. Because they know Iran cannot attack back with nuclear weaponry. And they arrogantly thought their Iron Dome was going to protect them. But it literally collapsed within 24 hours. A lot of people may have seen earlier videos where a whole bunch of Iran's weapons were being intercepted by the Iron Dome. The Iron Dome, by the way, actually shoots a missile up to intercept and blow up other missiles. But what they didn't get is that Iran was intentionally sending old missiles to wear out, to use up the defense. And once they felt like they had sufficiently worn down the defenses of the Iron Dome, then they started unleashing the heavy duty stuff. And Iran has hypersonic missiles. And I don't know if you've seen one of those on video. It is insane how fast they come in. You're not getting out of the way of a hypersonic missile. You may be able to see some other type of missile up in the air heading your way. You run for the hills. You're not running from a hypersonic missile. As fast as you see it, it's there. It travels faster than the speed of sound. So it hits you before you even hear it coming. They've also unleashed a new type of weaponry that we've never even seen before. Hey Siri, how many missiles does Iran have? It's going to be in the thousands. 3,000 ballistic missiles. They're going to level Israel like a parking lot.
I'm not calling Benjamin Netanyahu a liar, but if you've been saying something for 20, 30 years and it hasn't come to fruition, does that mean that you're lying about it? You tell me. Watch this.
If not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months.
They have the wherewithal, the stored up, preserved knowledge to make a bomb very quickly if they wanted to do it.
Iran is so dangerous. Weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
They're very close. They're 6 months away from being about 90% of having the enriched uranium for an atom bomb. Iran is gearing up to produce 25 bombs, atomic bombs a year, 250 bombs in a decade. Ladies and gentlemen, time is running out.
Iran will be capable of producing alone, without importing anything, nuclear bombs within 3 to 5 years.
Are American leaders listening to this? Is Donald Trump listening to this? And the big question is, are we being played by Benjamin Netanyahu?
What happened with Iran? Weren't we about to make a nuclear deal? Wasn't our deal maker in chief making a deal to keep Iran from enriching uranium? Actually, didn't we have a deal before our deal maker in chief so wisely pulled us from that deal? Why did this have to go balmy on Iran now?
And by next spring, at most, by next summer, at current enrichment rates, they will have finished the medium enrichment and move on to the final stage.
Iran is months away from having a nuclear bomb, says Netanyahu, in 2012. Seriously, why did we have to bomb Iran now?
Iran is so dangerous. Weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
Holy shit, that's why. Iran's only weeks away from having an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs, says Netanyahu. In 2015. No, seriously, I'm not being facetious. I really want to know why we had to bomb Iran now.
We're going to show you Iran's secret nuclear files. Here's the warhead. Here's the bomb.
And that's from 2018.
Escalations continue to rise in the Middle East. It is time for friends and family of active duty military to take action. Now is the time to reach out to your family members' chain of command all the way to the top at the Pentagon and tell them no war with Iran. Let them know you do not want your family member being sent to die for Israel. For 20 months, we have witnessed the genocide of the Palestinian people by the Israeli occupation. American troops, American people do not want to go to war with Iran. This is your way to ensure the safety of your family member or your friend that is active duty military to ensure they do not get deployed on behalf of Israel. Units across America have Facebook, X, and Instagram social media accounts. It is our duty as American citizens to flood the comment section and ensure that they understand, that the leadership understands that we do not want American troops to be deployed to die on behalf of Israel. This is the moment where our country must unite to protect its citizens from being dragged into a war on behalf of a genocidal country. Israel is not our ally.
Had a very interesting conversation with a Muslim friend of mine who was in the army in Iran, and that's what a story within itself. He had mentioned that he went back to Iran to finish up some sort of visa so that he can come back to the U.S. He got stuck there and was told that he had to serve 18 months in the army, where he did serve some more time when they were fighting against Iraq. So very interesting story. But what he said was, when it comes to the U.S., Israel, and everybody else, and the conflict over there, they will fight to the very end when it comes to protecting their land. That it's a cultural thing, that it's almost beyond understanding on our part. And right now, he doesn't have any connection with his relatives over there because they did cut off the phones and the internet and lots of communication. Bottom line is, I think we should be cool, be very appreciative of where we are in the United States. I'm telling you, you don't know how good we have it. You really don't.
The Guardian is reporting that we might use a nuke on Iran. What? Why would we do that? Because they say if we don't, the Iranians might develop a nuke at a later time. And nukes are so dangerous, we have to make sure to prevent anyone from using it. That's why we're using it. Wait, what? Are you guys insane? And apparently they are insane. So when the White House was asked about it, they say, hey, we're not taking any options off the table. Yeah, you should take that one way off the table. It makes no sense at all. They're saying destroying the Fordo facility with bunker busters are going to be very difficult. And so the Israelis, as always, are unsatisfied and demand that we do more and we destroy more. So apparently not off the table. That is absolutely insane. Trump has set a deadline of 2 weeks to make this decision on whether he attacks Iran and how he attacks Iran and whether he's going to drag us into Israel's war.
They're trying to get Iran to attack an American military base so that America can go, they attacked us unprovoked and now we have to go take care of them. It's all bullshit. Israel started this war with Iran. Israel can fight this fucking war with Iran on their own. I have nothing against the people of Iran. I'm pretty sure the people of Iran have nothing against me. I have no reason to send the American people to go die for Israel. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. I don't want to send our money to Israel to go fucking pay for this war. And yet Netanyahu's out here trying to do everything he can to get Iran to retaliate against American military bases. Why? So that a couple of American soldiers will die. Because Netanyahu knows that if a few American soldiers die, then the American president can use that as an excuse to get all ramped up and go to fucking war again. I don't want to go to war. I don't know any Americans who want to go to war. Fuck Netanyahu and
China's president is telling his inner circle to prepare for a great conflict, and now they're dumping US assets like a war is coming. The Chinese government is making moves that don't make sense economically, but they make perfect sense if planning for kinetic conflict. Xi Jinping said it outright. Prepare for a great conflict. It couldn't be more direct. State-owned enterprises in China are dumping US real estate, often for pennies on the dollar. Their banks are liquidating aircraft leasing portfolios. These are not market decisions, they're strategic divestments. China is working to shield themselves from dollar-based sanctions to make sure their assets aren't vulnerable to seizure inside the US. Look at China's actions. They've hoarded 70% of the world's corn supply. They've built massive hospitals just across the strait from Taiwan. And their military exercises, what started with 1 brigade in 2021 has grown into rehearsals involving 42 brigades, complete with full logistical operations. These are not drills, they're dry runs. They're practicing for the real thing. The Chinese embassy in Washington made it crystal clear during the early tariff standoff, saying if war is what the US wants, be it tariff war, trade war, or any other kind, we are ready to fight to the end. This wasn't a diplomatic slip, it was a statement of intent. Why would China wait for the United States to rebuild and regain strength, especially when over the past 4 years under the Biden administration, America has regressed while China has advanced both economically and strategically? China has no incentive to give us time to recover. If we want even a chance to deter them, we need to operate under the assumption that they won't let us get strong again and prepare accordingly.
Israel's famous Iron Dome system is still completely out. For almost 8 months it has not been working. And a few days ago when Yemen struck from the air and got Israel's main international airport, absolutely nothing stopped it. The United States gave Israel 2 THAAD missile defense systems to replace the Iron Dome, which cost over $3 billion. And every interceptor projectile from that cost over $12 million. And that was worthless too and stopped nothing. The United States also gave Israel Arrow 3 interceptors, which cost $3 million each and have not been able to stop anything either. The Iron Dome was famous for being able to stop anything that came in by the air at an almost 90% success rate, famously stopping 99% of the 300 projectiles launched by Iran in April of last year. Now they can't stop nothing, even from Yemen, even with our best technology, which also makes me worried that America and NATO wouldn't be able to stop anything either if it's coming from Russia, China, or North Korea, which have much more advanced systems. Why is the Iron Dome out? We still don't know, and they still won't tell us. They just keep on denying, covering up, and pretending like everything's fine, even when it's
just in. Chinese ships have been spotted near the Gulf around Iran, and people are speculating that these are intelligence ships, saying that they are monitoring the situation to see what's going to happen between Iran and the US.
Then Iran over there on Twitter tweeting, talk about everybody gonna feel. First of all, who is everybody? I hate people like that. You argue and then you trying to bring other people into your argument. What do we got to do with that? Like, make that make sense. We got our own problems going on over here, pal. Talking about some everybody gonna feel it. Everybody else, everybody but us. How about that? Everybody but us, because we got our own problems going on. You putting us in the middle of y'all stuff ain't got nothing to do with us.
So the casualties damage as of June 2017, Iran Health Ministry reported 224 deaths and 1,277 injuries in Iran, while Israel reported at least 25 deaths including 60 all in serious condition. Residential areas in both countries have been hit, with Israel striking at Iran, building housing, a bakery, hairdresser, and Iran targeting Israel's cities like Tel Aviv and Beersheba. The Israeli military, led by Chief of Staff Eyal Zamir, claims to have destroyed half of Iran missiles launches, a third of its surface-to-surface missile stockpile, and achieved total air superiority over Tehran. On the other side, Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Al-Khamenei vowed severe punishment for Israel. Iran Revolutionary Guards claimed to have targeted Israeli military sites near a hospital, and through several accused Iran deliberate targeting civilians. So we all saw this video of Netanyahu where he was in an Israeli hospital, claiming that Iran are targeting Israel key facilities. But if you go back, even it's not that back, like what Israel has been doing in Gaza. Okay, we all know it's a war between militaries, or the countries, a war between Israel military and Palestine's terror group, and they were actually hiding in hospitals, or they have dug under tunnels, a tunnel under the hospitals to be used for hiding facilities and so forth. So if Israel claims that maybe Iran is targeting wrong facilities, maybe they can have a justification on that. So what's really happening here is a war between the superpowers, a war where US is fond of poking its nose on things that are not, affecting them. Okay, that might be affecting them because there's a video of the former president Biden when he was still young, when he said Israel is a very crucial part of the American war, or America and affairs in the Middle East. And if there was no Israel there could be a US-made Israel somewhere around there. So USA, if people are disapproving, even both at home, and Trump, he used to say American first policy, making American great again. But now he's threatening another country, he is directly causing the war between Gaza, between Israel and Iran, which is affecting millions of lives. So as a person, I think the Islamic religion, or the Islamic extremism, has been the pain in everybody's ass. Let me say that. Has been the pain.